Welcome to the Retrograde video game podcast, where this week we catch you up on where the fuck we've been for the last couple
Where
months.
have we been? My name's Andrew Baskin. With me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself.
Mikey Warenworth. Where right here is where I've been. Also, I think I may have done that in the last check-in, but don't go back and listen.
No one would. How would you ever know?
No.
Mikey Herenworth.
Mikey Herenworth.
You're so
Warenworth,
close.
Herenworth.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, it's building on
Andrew,
the mythology.
I don't remember how to do this. Mm-hmm. It's been so long.
It has been a long time since we've recorded a podcast. It's been 3 months, let's say.
It's been, yeah, I think the New
Just more
Year's
than that.
the New Year's special was
Yeah.
our New Year's Eve countdown, our Century Club, which, by the way, I'm willing to do another one of those whenever the fuck you want.
Let's count down Easter. Let's count down Arbor Day. Let's count down whatever we got to do. Those are so much fun. I love doing it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you watched it, thank you very much. And we hope everyone's doing great out there. We're doing okay, right?
We're doing
in
all
short.
right. Why don't we just say this for people
Okay.
who are out there listening? This is the Retrograde podcast. We
Yeah.
used to, when we started out as little baby boys, I was Big Boy Mikey, you were Little Dinky Andy, just bringing it back to its roots.
Yeah.
We used to take a look at some of our old favorite games that we used to play when we were growing up. We'd rate and review them based on how we remember them. We'd play them, and then we'd rate them again in the modern day. And then we got a little lazy. We changed the format up a little bit, where we were just
You
talking.
think that was laziness?
I don't, you know what I think it was is running out of games that made enough of an impression on us as a kid. We
I
had
agree with you.
200 episodes plus
Yes.
of that format.
We started doing more games because people wanted us to do those games, even though we didn't have a connection to those games.
Right, so
and we
that-
lost the soul of the
That was
point.
it. That was
Yeah.
the first step of us losing the format of like, rate this what you think you would have thought of it if
Yeah,
you played it back in
yeah.
the day. And that just becomes too much for our little dinky brains to think of. But we gave it a good run after that, and we kind of put the podcast on a hiatus. But as promised, we said we would come back and check in from time to time with the lovely listeners and viewers out there over on YouTube. So this is what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Big old check-in, Andrew.
Yeah, I think we're checking it actually more than I thought, which is great.
Yeah,
I'm glad we're doing it.
I'm very glad we're doing
Yeah.
it, and we're after this as a little life update. We're gonna you and I go out and grab a drink and talk about logical next steps for the next project, which we've also been teasing.
We've
wanna
been
start
teasing
to
for
iron
very
that
long.
together.
We
Yeah.
promise we'll start dancing around it soon. You'll be seeing us soon. But in the meantime, we want to do this so that we can all catch up and be nice to each other and see how's everyone doing. And in the most part, we want to talk about the games that we've been playing and what's going on.
We do, but first of all, Andrew, it's been a while. I wanted to ask you a question. Did you know that girls can stop peeing midstream?
Well, I guess everyone can stop.
No, but like, well, can you?
You can't. It's really painful. It's not good though.
And like,
It's like, oh, no. But I imagine they could too. Is it like that?
so the
No,
other,
no.
no,
They would explode.
No, I was having a conversation with my player one.
Yep.
She was in the bathroom.
Yep.
I was in the bathroom. No, no.
Yeah.
I was. She
Peeing
was
between her legs.
She was on top of me.
Yeah. The bathroom is, of course, our bed where we pee on each other.
There's a tarp, you sickos.
Yeah, you weirdos. We're clean. We're hygienic.
Well, we do eat some asparagus beforehand, so it's not like clean.
Yeah, it's a modern day James Joyce situation.
What?
Do you never hear those letters that he would send his mistress or his like many people he slept with around the world?
No.
Where it was, this might have been Napoleon actually. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And it's like
I'm often confusing the two.
I'm coming home in 3 weeks. Don't wash.
Oh, that's Napoleon.
Yeah,
That's
he
Napoleon.
wanted some stank.
Yeah, that's good for him.
Hey, you like what you like.
And one thing about Napoleon, he knew what he wanted, and he went out there and got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Climbed all the way up and got it.
Because he was a short king.
Do you know he wasn't that short supposedly?
I'd heard that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Midstream. Keep going.
Midstream. So I was having a conversation. She's peeing.
Yes.
I'm on the couch.
Good update.
And I say something, and all of a sudden I hear the tinkling stop. She says, "What'd you say?" And I said, "What just happened?"
Oh my God. That's so impressive.
Isn't that crazy?
Is that all women?
I
Not
don't
all
know.
women.
Not all women.
First of all, not all women.
Hashtag no women.
Yeah.
Hashtag women are liars.
It's as far as we can get from International Women's Day.
Yeah.
It's important to tell our truths.
That's true. That's true.
Which
So
I'm a little lost on what is.
on what
on what we're talking about.
Women's Day
No,
is.
lost of what the truth we're telling about women is. But yes,
Oh.
other than they can
That they
pee, they can stop peeing.
They can stop peeing midstream.
Wow, that is incredible.
These are the things I get pent up with when you and I aren't talking on a regular basis.
I was thinking about an episode recently where we were talking about our biggest shames. We're describing the things that we have never played.
I mentioned that Carly was peeing on me. Or my player one was peeing on me. I wasn't supposed to say her name. Shit.
Well, this edit point there is we were talking about like embarrassing things that we admitted.
shames.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always which games we played, but it was opinions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about if we did a life life shame. I can't even think of rhyme of something that I've always claimed to have understood or said I knew or said I watched. I watched that movie many times. I never watched it.
What the difference between UK, Britain, and England is, for example.
That's a great example, and that will probably be an episode we do soon because I could come up with 10 off the top of my head. Yeah. One of them is I am a 38-year-old adult man. And the idea of where women's pee comes from.
Oh, yeah.
No idea.
No idea.
I have always been like, yeah, 3 holes. Got it. Totally understand. I've been face first to a vagina a couple times. What? Where?
Here's the thing. For my whole life, when they said 3 holes, I thought vagina, butt, mouth. I thought that's what we were talking about. I 100% thought that's what people were talking about.
Nipples in there somewhere. Yeah.
It's not a hole.
Yeah, it's like an even number.
Well, I guess it could be a hole because that's where the milk comes out of.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, man.
This is like grade 3 biology.
But no, it's somehow grade 3 biology, it like actually is accurate, or grade 6 or grade 7 or grade 8. Like, this is why we have these questions. We never learn this stuff. It's not our fault.
No.
I'm not going to ask my partner.
Well, okay, no. We didn't learn it. I agree with you. But also we're too embarrassed to, once we realized we didn't know, never asked another question. We just went, okay, I get it. 3 holes. All right, sure.
When you talk about like, and we'll get to video games in a second.
I guess.
Who knows?
Yeah, whatever.
When I get to, when you talk about the idea of doing like an actual shame podcast, that is a kind of like Romeo and Juliet shit where you and I have like poison at the ready.
Yes.
We talk about all of our shames and just kill ourselves right afterwards.
There is so
and then we're gonna take it and be like, oh fuck, who's gonna edit this?
It's just, there are so many things. If you want to let us know, what are things that you've always said you've understood and never did? If you want to make it about video games, extra points. But if you don't, that's fine too.
Yeah. I guess if it's just things you didn't understand, that's one. But when you said actual shames, like that would be...
Yeah, I guess.
There's a lot of things I'm shameful for not understanding, but I'm not going to kill myself over that.
Well, no, you brought that up. But yeah, I would say is that it's shame only in the way that you have probably lied about saying you did know.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to be like ashamed, but you definitely tried to lie about it.
Yes, 100%. Tried and succeeded.
Yeah. No one caught me.
Because I know what England is.
It's in
Ireland.
The UK.
Yes.
A
part of the UK?
Why don't we stop right now before we
Northern
get into...
Ireland.
Yeah, okay, let's... Whoa.
Andrew.
Yes.
What did you fucking... are you playing? What are you playing, dude?
Well, because of this... Well, you know what? A game I'm playing, and it's because of this podcast.
This game should have taught you about...
It should have, except I'll explain how... confusing it's getting.
Okay.
Is Civilization 7 came out a couple of weeks ago as of recording. I got it on my Switch.
How's it run on the Switch?
The graphics are great.
Chugging a little bit?
Yeah, but it's still, I don't really think you played for the graphics.
Right.
It's not like this, like, I'm so immersed in this,
Yeah.
whatever. It's really about gameplay. The gameplay runs totally fine. I only got into Civilization because of this podcast, because we played Civilization on the podcast.
We did.
It was a ton of fun. And since then, we didn't like it at the time, though, right?
I'm going to look up to see what you gave it, because I don't think either of us gave it like a great glowing review.
I actually think that is correct. Well, Mikey will look it up. I think at the same time, excuse me.
We have Dean.
Dog. Oh.
We have a dog that's going nuts. Just fucking going nuts.
There he goes. He's back. Oh, he's good.
We have a dog in the studio right now that has more followers than the Retrograde has ever had. By the way.
You and me personally, the Retrograde, everything combined.
Every social media element that I've ever been a part of. I'm actually going to move your camera a little bit because you got.
It moved. Sorry, I got it. Oh, you're okay.
There we go.
No, you're looking up very sassy on me.
Diener.
There you go. Good guy.
Yeah.
Is that I don't think I liked it at the time, but I didn't stop thinking about it, and then I have now played modern ones since. I think Civilization is just a perfect like playing game. I think it's like for extended periods of waiting, like commuting, things like that. It works really well because games are very long. Very long.
How long would because I had heard from someone on a podcast talking about Civ, and they were like, well, I finished a campaign, so I've put about 12 hours into this.
It can take 12 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it can take 12 hours, depending on how many people you have in it, how big the map is, how fast the turns you make them.
Yep.
Like there's marathon, there's sprint, whatever. And so, I played 6 a lot, and then 7 was coming out. And I'm like, here we go. I'm so ready. The problem is if I was playing from like not 1, but like if I was playing from 4 to 6, and now 7 comes out, I think I'd be in a little bit better shape because I would understand what changed from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7.
Sure.
Whereas like 6 in my mind is like that's the game. It's like if they came out with Monopoly 2, you'd be like, what? What do you change?
100%.
And so in this one, there are some small changes that it would be hard to explain without getting super granular about it.
Yeah. Okay, do this for me.
Yeah.
Get as granular as you need. What is the best change? It could be small, but what is the best change from 6 to 7 that you've noticed?
That's a good question. What's the best change? I would say there are some traversal. So it's a game broken into hexagons or octagons, I think, or whatever they are. They're shapes, and they're spaces on a board, kind of think like Risk, where you move.
Yes.
You move spaces, and if you rolled a die, hypothetically, you'd be able to move stuff. But it's kind of based on the unit or based on the turn or how your civilization is actually doing. I think the traversal is a lot better. I'm able to develop cities faster and larger. I find that to be more enjoyable. But the thing is, like in number 6. I imagine this has gone back to number 1, but in number 1, it was probably like France, you're Napoleon.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And then like, in the last one,
India's Gandhi. Notoriously aggressive. This isn't a joke. He's notoriously aggressive in the Civilization franchise.
Russia's probably a czar of some kind.
Yep.
America would probably... Well, American 6 was Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, Benjamin Franklin.
Which is odd as well because he was never president. But in this one, I guess they just are trying to get creative about representatives of the country. Like in America, you can play as Harriet Tubman.
Wow.
Which is simultaneously, that's pretty cool. I couldn't imagine trying to explain this to Harriet Tubman if she ever came back to life, being like, you are represented in this video. Isn't that cool?
Hot take. Bad choice. What does she have to do with I know she's done a lot.
She's done a lot.
But for the growth of a country like that?
Well, she was good at organizing people.
Yeah.
Getting them to move around a lot.
True.
In the face of
who's good
authority.
At that? Yeah.
She headed up a resistance that had long-term change that I think the country is still dealing with. This is my most diplomatic answer.
No, it's a decent answer. My hot take stands.
Yeah, you'd just rather have like Marco Rubio or something like that.
Marco Rubio, I was thinking. Yeah, he'd be really good.
Just anyone off the top of your head. Like think about anyone off the top of your head you think would be better.
I was thinking, who's the stand your ground guy?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Well, inspiration to Kyle Rittenhouse. That guy in Florida.
Such a like a politician, actual politician?
No.
Oh, like a guy that shot somebody?
Yeah. Because again, I'm going to lead my civilization on a war-torn path to victory.
Yeah. Do you want to be Lincoln?
Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse, Harriet Tubman.
You declared war against India. India had a hoodie on and was standing in my front lawn.
Oh yeah. Okay. So there's some inspired choices, I'd say. And so that part, it also doesn't really matter. But the one thing I did like this year, and excuse me if I only realized it this year and I've just been playing poorly the last couple of years.
Yeah.
One of them is, so Benjamin Franklin's, let's use that as an example. If in every evolution state, they're kind of getting away from countries as a whole identity and saying like, oh, in this second age, do you want to have a Roman style government or something like that?
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And so
That's
like
cool.
it kind of phases in between different countries and cultures and things like that. And one of them is you get bonus points for kind of understanding history. So if there's a French style democracy or something like that in the second stage, because I chose Benjamin Franklin, he was a representative to France for America in the whatever, and you get like a bonus point for that. And I'm like, well, that's cool. So yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, there's stuff like that I found very interesting.
That makes me not want to play because I don't know anything about history, and in fact, I think that's a benefit to me.
Yeah, I think that was just shown just a couple minutes ago.
Harriet Tubman,
the
guy who shot the guy in Florida.
Oh, we're so back.
We're
so back.
So if you could guess the year that we reviewed Civilization 3, which was the one we did.
The year we reviewed it?
Yeah.
2023.
Nope. 2020.
Oh my
November
God.
3rd, 2020, episode 131, I believe. In the retro score, you gave it a 1, I gave it a 2. And in the current score, actually, we both gave it a 3. So,
okay. So it did go 1 though. Yeah, but three's good. Three's higher than I thought. I thought I was going to get a 2.5. So that's kind of good. When did we start this podcast? 2018?
We started, I believe 2018.
My God.
That's crazy. Episode 1, Mortal Kombat.
And not a great episode. Don't go back and listen to it. I don't think you can actually.
I think you can. I think I think since we went on that little hiatus, we opened up our entire back catalog. Which was
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So Civilization 7.
Yeah.
Tons of fun. I will probably be playing this for until the next one comes out.
If you could rank it out of 4 bits.
3 bits.
3 bits.
In the way that it's really good.
Yeah.
But does it improve enough on the last game?
I don't know. You're asking me. I didn't even play the game.
No. It was rhetorical. I'm going to get to it.
Okay, then don't ask me a question. And also, we don't use that word anymore.
Yeah. Silent H it's a rhetorical question because it doesn't get better. Wait.
Okay.
No,
I don't have an answer.
No. No.
Okay. Well, if you knew the answer, why are you asking the question? This is weird. Like you immediately knew. You didn't even have to stop and think. Because usually if I ask a question, I'm pondering.
Yeah.
I'll like look up to the sky.
Yeah.
I might tap my temple a little bit.
Scratch your little chin.
I might make it sound like, you didn't do any of this.
I might get a nosebleed.
Eyes roll back in the head.
Yeah. I wake up a week later. Does it improve enough to
Again, I didn't play the game.
I did not mean to do it that time, and then I panicked halfway through that sentence. It does not improve enough.
Okay.
Definitive statement.
Okay.
To warrant getting that much more money. You got another $80 to $90.
Yeah.
For that game. I don't know. I don't think it improves that much on it, but yet it's still great to have and have a newer version of the game.
I like what you said there, but it's just the way you said it.
Yeah.
You could have used like a rhetorical device or something. Just make it more convincing. You just kind of flat out fucking said it.
I did.
And then I don't feel like I'm a part of this conversation.
Right. Yeah, you were way too much of a part of that conversation. That's for sure. I think rhetorical comes back to like ancient Greek times probably.
Yeah,
so
rhetoric.
this all kind of works.
Rhetoric, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew that?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't know enough to shut your goddamn mouth, though, eh?
No. I can sense when you're floundering, and I had to help out by stopping you at every moment you had a
Go
chance.
back there a second. Yeah. So that's what I'm playing. Mikey, what are you playing?
Man, I've been taking this time off of the podcast. You have some hours free up when you're not recording and editing podcasts. So I've been playing a lot more bite-sized games. I've actually put a decent dent into my back catalog. The one game that I'm surprised hasn't come up on this podcast yet, obviously because we haven't been recording, but had we been recording, would have become a mainstay, I think, of our weekly conversations, is Marvel Rivals.
Oh,
have you tried this out yet?
I have played Marvel Rivals, yes.
What do you think?
I don't know. It has not gotten its teeth into me like so many other people. I know there's people
I'm going to stop you right there. That was a rhetorical question, Andrew.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, what do you think? I think it was really good. I think it's a really good game.
I don't think you understand.
Have you played it yet? Yeah, pointing at you.
Is this to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I have played
That's another part of my rhetorical device, Andrew. If I'm pointing at you, because you taught me this. You really make the other person want to speak, and then you just cut them off at the pass.
I do. Yeah, I love doing that. I love doing that. I love the idea of like, what did you think? Someone would say. Telling a story.
Sorry, no. What did you think?
I don't think this is for me. I know how popular it is for so many people. Please don't, please God. I'm just gonna give up the next time. I'm gonna be like, well, I don't care. I
just stand up and leave.
Yeah, well, that's enough of this. Dogs, come with me. Yeah, no, I understand its appeal because of it's free to play.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's got a bunch of characters that I already really like.
Yep,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you've always been a Marvel fan.
I am a Marvel fan. You know, that's a tough road we're on now.
But I mean that like before the MCU, you were a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah, I grew up reading a lot of comics. I still try to now, which that's an expensive hobby, by the way. But so all these things are already setting up, and I like the Battle Royale or the 6-on-6, competitive shooter, because we'd played Overwatch for so long, and that was really my way into that, even though I know there's many other games. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be good.
Yep.
And I just don't find it fun.
Okay.
And I can see how there's parts where like, oh, maybe if I spent more time and learn more of the characters, the combinations and the maps and how you work things, that's how it would work. Because that's what Overwatch did for me.
100%.
Yeah, I needed to play it a couple of times to understand. Going, I understand how they work
more
together.
Than a couple times.
Oh yeah.
It's like 10 hours plus homework, like learning online how to play characters.
But when we started playing Overwatch, and I'm not trying to cut you off the pass here, but it's my favorite hobby in the world to do. Is
you're a great football player?
Yeah. Is the idea that like Overwatch was big and shiny and bright.
Yes.
And it was like very comic booky irony.
Sure.
It's glossy and it's like
Irony Man.
Irony Man.
Speaking of comic booky.
Yeah. And for some reason, I think the other thing too about the Overwatch, I'm going to use that as a specific example because I'm drawing a one-to-one, is that all the characters were very unique and specific. And I was like, so when I saw that, I'm like, I think I got what this guy does.
Yes.
Okay, cool. With Marvel, with Rivals, I'm just having a trouble doing it. I find the color to be very drab.
Yep.
And I know they're trying to go for that flat affectation of like the comic book style.
Like almost cell shading.
Yeah, cell shading. That's almost like a Spider-Verse-y, universe or something like that. But for some reason, I've not had a ton of fun playing it, so I haven't gone back to it many times.
Yeah.
I imagine your answer is going to be a little different.
Actually, no.
No?
Okay, so here's the thing. Heroin isn't fun. But
Oh,
if you get addicted to it and someone else is like, here's heroin's little cousin, you're going to do it and you're not going to be happy about it. Like,
is this the analogy you want to go with?
This is the analogy I want to go with.
This is.
Sorry, I know you love heroin and you find it very fun, but in my case,
So if someone gave you heroin and you're like, I don't find it fun, but I find it addictive, and heroin's little cousin comes around. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's the point.
And that's it.
No, so I kicked the Overwatch habit.
Right. If you don't know, and if you haven't been listening,
yeah,
Mikey played Overwatch obsessively.
To the point where I would classify it as an actual addiction. Yeah. It was hard for me, even when I said I'd wake up and I'd be like, I'm not going to play today, I would end up playing. It was just like, it was a hard thing to kick. I kicked it. It was at the expense of other games. Like, I wasn't playing new games. I was just playing Overwatch. And, depends on how you want to spend your time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but for me, I like to play a bunch of different games. It was getting to the point where I was playing it in the middle of the day when I probably should have been working. But I kicked it and I felt good about that. Marvel Rivals comes in and I'm like, I want to avoid this. I really want to avoid it. I don't need the addiction, but I was curious. I picked it up and immediately, because of course I was going to, it's free to play. And
I slept walking, downloaded it. I woke up the next day. I'm like, whoa, what happened there?
A few of my friends had been playing it. And they're like, you should just hop on, just try it out, just see how it goes. So I did it. And like you said, right when I started out, I was like, this is fucking overwhelming. This is crazy. And here's one thing I'll say ultimately about the design of Overwatch versus the design of Marvel Rivals. And I think you kind of hit on this. There's something about Overwatch. When I see a character and they do something on screen, somehow I know what that is.
Yeah.
I know the amount of damage it's going to do. I know potential ways to avoid it. I understand the effect it's having on the characters. There's so much going on in Marvel Rivals, and I think that the actual game design is far worse than Overwatch in terms of like a showing versus telling the audience what they're seeing, that I have to like internalize and like I have to see what's happening and then tell myself what's happening, as opposed to just knowing based on seeing like Zenyatta doing his transcendence or something in Overwatch. I'm like, everyone in there is getting healed. That's pretty easy to see, whatever. Luna Snow dancing in the middle of the screen. The area of effect isn't, even though the effect of her of that ultimate is the same, it doesn't immediately tell you what's going on in the same way that like the masters over at Blizzard, who are great at character design, great at corporate culture.
HR, I was just going to say the same thing.
So ultimately, I feel like it's free to play, and I feel like I'm playing a free to play game. It doesn't feel like, my favorite word, chunky. It doesn't feel chunky in the way Overwatch does. The game doesn't control as well as Overwatch does, but the community is there now, and the designers are actually making changes and updates to the game that make it feel like it's worth sticking around for. And Overwatch just felt like they didn't care about the people who were playing their game and just left them in the dust. And unfortunately, that's why I'm playing it. Do I love it? Legitimately, no. But I scratch that itch a little bit. But every time I turn it on, I'm just like, I don't know how much I'm actually enjoying this.
Yeah. I know so many people playing this game.
Yeah.
I think the one big difference is just because you know the characters already, or for the most part, you know most of the characters.
Yeah.
There's some like real reaches in this game.
Sure.
Jeff Landshark and everything. But
Landshark is the funniest. Yeah.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
But is that, when you went back to Overwatch now, like if we were going to go play Overwatch 2, which is a thing, and we just like act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And there'd be, legitimately like 10 to 15 new characters. I'd be like, oh boy, this is overwhelming. I don't know, because I just don't know what they do, and I don't know how they mesh.
100%.
And the characters that I knew already have changed. It's kind of like a Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, now I go back, I'm like, wait, what? They have 7 moves? Like, wait, no.
You feel like you've gotten so far removed, but it's a great point. One of the reasons why I haven't gone back to Overwatch is because I look and I'm like, there are 3 or 4 new characters since the last time I played.
Yep.
I don't know what little tweaks to like Anna's grenade. Like, does it heal in the same way?
Exactly.
Like, having learned Rivals in the way that I have now, and having a pretty good familiarity with everyone's kit, the way you have to in a game like this, a hero shooter, I feel like it would be easier for me to go back to Overwatch and just immediately settle back into it. Because I'm like, to learn three new characters is not as intimidating as learning, 25, 30 characters that are in Rivals.
Totally. And but this kind of goes back to our guy, Bobby Snow. Is that
Bobby Snow?
Yeah, Robert Frost. You can never go home again. Okay. Is that that Overwatch that exists in our mind no longer exists?
Yes.
Actually, for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
And that's okay, but that would be intimidating for some reason. And I wasn't on the same level as Mikey, not a skill or commitment, but is that
mainly skill though?
Yeah, well, one then the other. Yeah, probably.
Skill would be like the big, like a big gap. Like commitment, sure, but like that skill was obvious. Like if people saw you and me just standing there, and then there was like gameplay playing,
yeah,
and one of them is just kicking ass,
yeah, right.
They'd be like, that's definitely Mikey.
Yeah.
And then if they saw someone just like going out of spawn and like walking off a cliff and then blaming their teammates for not healing them, they'd be like, that's probably Andrew.
Yeah. So above our head is like the displaying like skill and stuff like that. And then also hours played. And the people are walking by and they're like, congratulations on having a life, sir. And they'd be putting like one of those recovery blankets over you. Like, sir, are you okay?
Yes.
Have you seen your family recently?
They wouldn't be proud of me.
No. They'd be concerned.
In fact, I think based on the number of hours, they'd be disappointed in me.
One person just was sick. It was crazy. But is that when I go back to Rivals, because I have no commitment to it, I will check in every once in a while to go like, who did they add? Oh, the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I'd love to play as Johnny Storm, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that kind of thing is like every time they do it. I will say the only downside is all the characters start to feel a lot alike because they do one of three things.
Yes.
It's like, oh, this is my kind of flying character.
100%.
This is my big ground guy.
Yes.
You know? So
and the meta right now, speaking of flying characters and big ground guys and stuff, is something that I just find really annoying. The fast moving dive characters. So for a hero shooter, they usually want to get into your back line. They want to move really fast. The purpose is to be really hard to hit, the iron fists, all that.
Yeah.
The meta is so much shifted towards like Spider-Man got a buff where he moves faster than any character has ever moved in a hero shooter that I've ever played. And it just makes it not fun.
Yeah.
It's like you're at their mercy. If they hit their shots, you just die. And it's like those kinds of things make like you die to something like that. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to play this game. I don't know if this is for me. Like, it's way twitchier, and I'm sure some people like that, but I don't like the way the meta is going. I don't like the fact that they fired half of their development team in spite of the success of the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think that bodes well for, like, meta tweaks here and there, but they'll do what they're going to do. I'm sure I'm going to check in from time to time, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
No. I know, yeah, that story is such a bummer.
Yeah.
And the problem is it is not a unique one anymore.
No, not even
where
close.
It used to be this thing where it's like, oh, I'm disappointed. They're whatever, laying off staff. Now it's like, congratulations, everyone. Great game. Pink slips. It just like across the board. And you're like, oh, that's a bummer. Speaking of great games and companies, I downloaded NBA 2K and I've been playing a lot of that. And I think what is toughest about the NBA 2K games is that long time ago, I used to be really good at them.
Okay.
I used to be very, very good. I used to play online.
Like if you and I were standing next to each other and there were two screens.
Yeah.
And one of them showed someone just like slamming a dunk.
Yeah,
from half court.
Slamming a dunk
from half court.
Sound like my mother.
And the other person was there sitting on the sidelines. And the ref comes up to him and says, you got to play.
Yeah,
You're here to play.
Yeah.
You have the ball right now.
Yeah.
You're in a jersey.
Right.
Get on the court.
That
Stop
like
eating
ref,
popcorn.
Yeah, that's their job to administer the game.
Then one of that would be me and one of it would be you. And people would be able to tell.
I think so. Yeah. You're in like the 300s. I used to be really good at the game. And the problem is this is just age and games changing.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I am so bad at it. Like, and I am not.
What was the last year you played an NBA game?
Oh, I have downloaded a couple over the last 5 years.
Oh, so no excuses.
No, tons. I'm gonna make so many you won't believe. I just have not stayed with it.
Yep.
And these games are like a grind year to year to like learning the new stuff
100%.
and switching stuff. And I am just so pathetically bad. I'm not being self-deprecating. I'm legitimately awful at it.
That sucks.
And it does suck because it does kind of suck the fun out of it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, why am I playing this?
Man, the theme of today's recording is aging as a gamer and how hard it is to keep up with the things that you like. We talked about it with Civilization, where it's like these minor changes from game to game, which it seems like because you were so familiar with 6, 7 was a natural progression. The opposite of that is not playing Overwatch while 2 characters are released, or playing an entire new game. Or you use the example of NBA, but for me it was always the NHL. Like I used to be similarly really, really good at those games.
Yeah.
And like if you and I were standing together,
sure, yeah, why not? Yeah, and one's playing hockey and one's playing basketball.
But every time I try to, sometimes through like PlayStation Plus or something, it'll be like, oh, the new NHL game is free. So I'll download it and check it out. Year to year, the changes that they make to tweak those games, it makes it unplayable. Like I am legitimately like you, just like really bad at that game.
I know, but it's an unwinnable fight because I think about the development team. and they're like, people are like, I like this game. I can't wait for next year.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, we changed some stuff. And they're like, no, I liked the game.
It's a
And they're
great
like,
point,
and then the other people are the Civilization people like me and going, what did you change?
Yeah.
Why am I buying a new game?
100%.
It's just, I get that it's an unwinnable fight. The point should be to make a good game that year, and that's the point. And then
they shouldn't slow down progress because you have dumb shits like you and me
Exactly.
who want to be able to check in from year to year. Yeah.
no, I'm ruining the things I like.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun. But yeah, I was gonna say that in like, is there, what else are you playing right now?
Oh man, so I'll rapid fire a couple of them.
Because I was just gonna talk about the future. So what are you playing
Sure,
right now?
yeah, I don't think you've checked these games out, so
Okay.
I'll just kind of rattle some off. And,
Yeah, sure.
And if you're out there on
Death
Twitter
Rattle.
or Instagram, Death Rattle, which is what I've been living for. I can hear it in my chest. Just like
It's hollow too. It's weird.
that's what I'm gonna. My sister just had a baby not too long ago.
Yes.
I'm gonna buy him a Death Rattle.
That'd be good.
good.
That'd be good. You get it at that like in that haunted store.
Yeah, That haunted store.
You know that every once in a while it's only on Tuesdays at like 3:30.
Oh,
and
it's
you're
like Spirit Halloween.
yeah.
Yeah.
My big comparison I keep using is just like, oh, there goes another finger curls on the monkey paw. Like that's it. That's an expression I want to now make very casual. And I say it all the time.
Oh, it's a good one.
I
But
like it.
in reference to what?
So like if it's okay, I'm trying to think of a good example. Why don't you
Yeah.
talk about what you're playing? I'll think of a good example.
You didn't-
I just won't listen.
You didn't have an example of the thing that you just brought. Why did you bring up the monkey's paw
I've been saying
thing?
it a lot.
No, but you didn't even just say it, and then you're like, "Hey, I like this saying."
No, but I've been saying that expression a lot, and I want to make it more
No,
like
I know,
colloquial.
but you just out of nowhere. Let me.
I was thinking about the haunted store because it would sell a monkey paw,
Okay, okay. So you,
a death rattle, a monkey
you
paw.
thought about scary things, and you're like, "Hey, by the way, there's a saying that I like that involves scary things."
Oh no, you're there. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you know, no.
Okay, so just
Check,
so
check.
our listener is,
Oh, I think they got it.
I think they got it. I think they got it. No, so I've been checking out a lot of these smaller games, and one of them that I actually have I beat. I've actually rolled credits on a few of them, which is very impressive. I'll talk about two of them.
Wow.
One,
Who is this guy?
this is brand new man, brand new man.
Yeah, I don't even know him.
Mouthwashing is a what?
You tweeted this out.
I did. It
And
was the first time I've tweeted in months.
Yes, and to the point that you actually said, "Hey everyone,
Hey, I'm
it's
back."
been a while." Okay, and I couldn't tell if it was a joke.
Nope, not a joke.
Mouthwashing is a game, but it's
Mouthwashing
not
is
like
a
a
game.
simulator, is it?
No.
thank
It's
Christ.
not like a power wash simulator, or
Dental
something like
hygiene
that.
simulator?
Yeah.
Okay.
The mortuary assistant.
Oh my God.
It's a game that it's kind of Event Horizon-esque.
Oh, okay.
In some ways,
Really?
yeah. Where it's like almost there's something going on with like the minds of the crew of a spaceship, and it starts out. The opening scene is you are in the cockpit. You don't know anything about your character or why you're there, and the cockpit is warning you you're about to crash, and you override the controls and make it crash, and you're kind of like hallucinating while it's happening. You're like, oh, that's interesting. And then the rest of the game plays out. You're one of the crew members who had to take over the captaincy because you found out that the captain purposely crashed the ship, and you're trying to keep your crew safe. You're trying to keep them from losing their minds. You're trying to keep the captain at bay who managed to survive as well. And it's kind of cosmic horror-y, very subtle at times, but very overt at other times.
Right.
It's probably like a 2.5 hour. I define it as a walking simulator, but just an incredible game, incredible atmosphere, some interesting puzzles, and I beat it all within like a night and a half, and like have nothing but great things to say about it.
Wow. What did you play it on?
I played it on my Steam Deck. Which
okay.
was great, and I think it's only available right now on PC. I saw it available on Switch or like a pending release, but it's not called Mouthwashing on the Switch for some reason. So keep an eye out.
Is the name mean something in the game?
Yeah, so
Okay,
you're a and this is not spoiling anything, but you're on a cargo ship that's transporting goods across the universe or whatever, space, and you're transporting mouthwash.
God.
Yeah.
There has to be a part of that, especially when you know you're going to die, going like, that's what my life is.
That plays into it.
Okay.
Where it's like, this is what this was for? Like thousands of boxes of mouthwash? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. It's probably going to the UK.
Or Ireland? Northern Ireland?
Wait, no. I shouldn't have brought this back up again.
No.
So you rolled credits on it.
I rolled credits
you get a
on
recommend.
And I high recommend. I also rolled credits
Okay.
on another game that was being recommended to me constantly after I talked so highly about Disco Elysium.
Ooh.
It's another, I guess, CRPG, like tabletop role playing, whatever, but all text based, similar to Disco Elysium, with even less interactivity in terms of walking around the environment. But it's called Citizen Sleeper, and it's a kind of cyberpunk-y dystopian game where you can, if you're short on money, sell your consciousness to a corporation, which gives that consciousness a body that has to essentially work to keep the body running.
Okay.
The body starts to deteriorate, and your consciousness has to work and pay the corporation money in order to keep your body active. So it's essentially a form of slavery that you've sold your consciousness up to, but your consciousness believes it's its own person. And it's this story of like trying to escape the corporation, and there's bounty hunters, and there's people on this little like offset satellite space station thing that all have their own issues. And it's the kind of game that purposely makes you feel like you're constantly failing. You know, there's where it's like you finish a day cycle. Probably in Civilization, you feel this at like the end of a round where you're failing, where it's just like, you're like, no matter what I do, I cannot progress properly.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's used to good effect narratively. And I think it's on purpose, where it's like, you're not supposed to feel like you're dominating the world.
Yeah.
But the writing is phenomenal. It's again, kind of like reading a book more than playing a game. And I'd highly recommend that one as well. The reason I started playing it is because Citizen Sleeper 2 just came out recently. Number 1 is available for free on PlayStation Plus, so check it out if you haven't done that yet. And then I also want to give a quick shout out to Kingdom Come. Oh, sorry.
Can I just say just about that game?
Yeah.
Have you seen Mickey 17 yet?
No, is it out? I want to see that really badly.
So as of recording, it came out last weekend. And there are parts of what you're describing that sound a lot like that.
Yes, yeah, I saw the trailer,
yeah.
and it's one of those infamous trailers that I think showed a little too much. I was in right at the hook of like, oh, this guy sells his body and he keeps getting, and then they went a little bit too far into it, but Mickey 17 looks great. Did you like it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've liked all his films. So like there's a certain sensibility where they're like, because it can be so serious, or they do something where it's like crazy beautiful looking.
Yeah.
And then it comes back and it's just like the wackiest shit for 30 seconds, and you're like,
Who directed
Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, yeah, Parasite.
So yeah, Parasite. Yeah. He's been doing stuff for a long time. Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
And it's like this stuff where it's like super dark and like crazy, and then it's like, Tony Colecco's on a thing about condiments for like 2 minutes, and you're like, okay, all right,
sure.
And then we're like, we'll get back to all this killing for a second. It's like, all right, sick.
Speaking of, you're nothing to me but a lady of the night.
Am I supposed to? Is that like Winter Soldiering me or something?
It's the brutalist.
Oh yes.
Now I'm gonna fuck you in the butt.
Oh yeah, that's what he says right before he
I think
sexually assaults
during.
Him? Oh, during.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the brutalist after? You were going to talk about a game, right?
Okay, I'll talk about a game.
Yeah, talk
real
about the
quick.
game, and then we'll talk movies.
It's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Sure.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the way I like to call it. King, Dumb, and Full of Cum, Deliverance 2.
Nice.
What else can we say?
Yeah, you got a few more of these, right?
Yeah.
Deliverance, like the banjo scene. Yeah.
Squeal Like a Pig is...
There's a lot of sexual assault now that I'm thinking about it. Okay.
No, it's a great game. It's an incredible change of pace to a lot of these open world RPGs. Think Skyrim with no magic, and much more attention to detail in terms of keeping yourself fed, clean. Like, it's so detailed in this game where, like, if you have a fight along, like if you're walking to a town and you get in a fight and you kill someone and there's blood on you, people will be like afraid of you in town. You have to like bathe before you go back, or they like won't let you into their establishment.
Very
and
detailed.
stuff like that. Very detailed.
Wow.
You can't sleep anywhere unless you have a bed, or else people will kick you out. It's very like, I don't want to get too much into it because I've just been kind of rambling on. Maybe in the next check-in I'll have a little bit more time to really go into my thoughts on it. But all in all, I don't want to be this guy, but like, in this world where we're seeking these like quick dopamine hits, like Marvel Rivals is the exact opposite of this game. Every time you get a kill, it's like bring, dring, like it's like sales. It's like a slot machine.
Yeah.
This is the opposite. So much so that I spent an hour and a half forging swords through like this mini game of like ding, 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 and getting into this rhythm. And at the end of it, I was like, I didn't do fucking anything, but my mind feels at peace. It's like a great antidote to that constant. And I think that's what's been putting a lot of people off of this game, is they're like, what is this game about? It's boring. It's like you just like walk to a town and forge horseshoes for an hour and then like sell it and make money. It's like, to what end? And I'm kind of like, the process is the end.
Yeah,
Much like
the journey,
a game that I think we'll talk about that a trailer just launched for, but like a Death Stranding. Which we'll get into after our Brutalist talk. But I will say, if you've been on the fence about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Come Dump Deliverance 2, you should check it out and give it a shot. I mean, I say that it's a $90 game. Like if you don't have the money for it, don't do it.
Oh, so is it a console game?
It's PC and it's also available on consoles.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just with those price tags, usually it's a pretty well made game
Yes,
or a big game.
It is. It's a AAA for sure.
It is a AAA,
and it's incredibly big. Here's one thing I will say about it before we move on. The thing I like most about an open world game is when the side quests are just as good as the main story. So I can jump in and do a side quest. Red Dead, I'll give it credit for that. It's like a side quest is often like just as good as anything you're going to do in the main story.
Right.
So I'll play the game for a couple hours and go do a quest, and it has nothing to do with the main story, and I don't care because I got a lot out of it.
Yes.
That's like a huge tell for whether or not an open world game is good. It's not just like, go over to this tower and then scan everything, Assassin's Creed. It's like, go over here and like go on this trail, and you're going to meet a bunch of new characters and feel like you live in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that because my player one's playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the third time or something like
Jesus
that.
Christ.
And so every once in a while, I'll look up from a book or Civilization. I'm like,
you're not
fucked. What day is it?
Wait, so let me just set the stage here. So she's playing Red Dead 2. She's fishing or whatever, and you're like,
you're a good boy.
Red fish, blue fish. What are you playing over there?
Yeah,
you're like one fish, two fish. Hey, hun, can you help me with this word?
Yeah.
Blue.
And she pats me on the head. You're a good boy. And I'm like, thank you. And she's like, I meant the horse. I'm like, oh, okay. Is that, I'm reminded of the side missions and constantly running into people on the side of a road or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, I got bit by a snake. Can you drive me back to my house or something like that?
Can you suck out the venom?
Yeah, that is actually one of them. Yeah. If my anus is one of them is that I'm, because I'm not playing it with her, I'm reminded that half of these are like a trap.
Oh,
and
yes.
I'm always looking at it, I'm like, that feels like a trap. It's like, no, it's a real one. I'm like, I do a good job hiding these. Like, I can't tell which one's which. Because you do the thing of like, I can't believe I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption 2 again, but it's like, it rewards you of like, she's like, mister, can you please help me? And you're like looking around in the forest, like, can I see anybody else? And sometimes you catch them, and I'm like, that game's pretty good. So yes. Do you want to talk about Brutalist first, or you want to talk about Red Dead Redemption?
Let's talk Red Dead Redemption.
I mean, Death Stranding too.
Let's go on to Brutalist, and we'll save maybe the last conversation about Death Stranding.
Yeah,
because the pre-order trailer dropped like a day ago as of recording. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You want to talk about the Brutalist? We can talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, I know you're a huge Oscars fan. I am. You're a huge movies
I like
fan.
Movies. Big movie
Brutalist
guy.
was your movie of the year?
I think it ended up as number 1 and Anora's number 2.
Yeah.
And so we're going into the Oscars, and Anora kind of ran away with it.
Yeah.
Both are really good movies. Like, I don't know, like, I kind of, one of these.
Both are great.
I don't have putting my foot down and be like, that's ridiculous. It's not a Green Book winning. It's, who cares?
I will say, then it would be a clear winner.
Yeah, it would be a masterpiece. Yeah, like anointing it.
I've realized something about myself.
Oh.
I have very often on this podcast and in my personal life said, you're just a lady that I know. I've very often said, I don't like long movies.
Right.
Movies don't need to be this long.
Yes.
Cut it down. I'm realizing that a really long movie, which doesn't need to be that long and is not as good, is my least favorite thing.
Right.
A really good, very long movie, I really like. I'm thinking about Dune 2. I'm thinking about The Brutalist. I'm thinking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm not thinking about
Oppenheimer. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, not Oppenheimer.
Yeah. There are examples to the contrary, but I really like The Brutalist. I think, like everyone says, I think the second act dragged quite a bit.
Okay.
But I as of the first intermission, or the only intermission,
In the intermission,
first half, I remember being like, this is special. Like, this is very, very good. Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. I really like The Brutalist too. The second half is very interesting. I don't know. There's not a lot of, I don't know if you really spoil it. It's an epic of one man's life. And
is this a true story, by the way?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, it's inspired by stories, I'm sure. But and as far as I know, that's Laszlo Toth is not a real person.
Well, how's it inspired by stories when it's based on the war that, was obviously made up?
Right. Oh, World War II?
And the things contained therein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where was he fleeing from?
Good question. Actually, what country is he from?
Budapest.
Oh, he's from Hungary?
I don't know.
It must have been.
Budapest?
It's in Hungary.
Okay. All right, Civilization 7. Calm down.
Sorry, I knew that because of Civilization. It's going to be funnier when I'm wrong. That's going to be like, no. And I'm like, oh, well, what are you going to do? it's a one-man story, but it's a story you don't often see because it's an epic.
Yeah.
It is literally the story, the life story of this man.
Yeah.
In America, pretty much. And even takes some very odd things that, like, even if you don't like it, I totally understand, but it's really making its choices very clear to the point that it has an epilogue. Like, it has a point where it goes, you've seen this guy's life. Here's the end of it. And you're like, what?
Yeah, it was really strange. But I think, brutalist architecture is also very like, you either like it or you hate it.
Totally.
It is unapologetically what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that the movie did a lot of that on purpose. And I always like making a choice and sticking with it. What do you think about Adrian Brody having won Best Actor, the whole controversy around using AI for his accent?
So it's to fill in certain words that it was help to boost certain words because there was translations that were wrong.
Oh.
And they did it in post.
Oh,
because it's famously a very hard language.
Yeah.
And so when they realized, and they were talking to like scholars and stuff like that, and they're like, you kind of got that one wrong. It's like, shit. And so they would edit it slightly like that. I would say that, unfortunately, I think the toothpaste is out of the tube on this one. The mouthwash is out of the tube.
Hey.
Is that AI is in movies. We're just not talking about it. It was in multiple of the Best Picture winners. And so it's kind of like...
Also that Robin Williams movie.
Well,
Haley Joel Osment.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wish I had something else for that. And
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. Yeah, because it was Kubrick, right? That wrote it. There was a Kubrick script, and he died, and then they wanted to make it for him.
Ireland?
Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. I think Kubrick. Yeah, he's Northern Irish, famously. Is it? Yeah. So it's an interesting. I don't know. I don't really care too much about that because I think it's like if we're going to use AI. That's what we want to use it for. I think it's the AI movie that you're going to be like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We could talk about animation afterwards too, because I think that's a very interesting part of the Oscars. But you like The Brutalist? I'm glad to hear that.
I did like it. I liked Nora quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
I still think my movie of the year would be I Saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. I think it's the best movie I've seen in a long time. As for the Oscars, very surprised Timothée Chalamet got a nomination for that. And the uproar on TikTok about him getting shafted, I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
I don't hate it. I think that movie, it's so funny. We're talking about the Bob Dylan movie.
Complete Unknown.
Complete Unknown, thank you. And it's like, it's one of those ones where I just, the biopic thing, fuck me, I can't not do that.
No, I say biopic.
Oh, it is biopic.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it right.
Yeah.
I know, I'm mad. See, that's how I'm in the dark, man. And I'm just in the forest. And is that it's just such a tired, tropey thing that like during the movie, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think he's fine. And every time I start talking about that movie, I start naming 5 things I really like about it. And I'm like, Boyd Holbrook is Johnny Cash is good. And it looks really good. And man, Ed Norton did that pretty good. It's about the folk festival and how that's a history of America and whatever. And the Elle Fanning scene I love where she sits there quietly and cries because she realizes they don't do it in dialogue. They just show you. I'm like, that's smart. That's really good. And then I walk away going like, wait, did I really like that movie? And I'm like, but I didn't like it when I watched it. It's like, I don't know.
I think I like Bob Dylan's story. I don't know if I loved that movie. But speaking of Elle Fanning, she makes an appearance in a trailer that just dropped yesterday as recording. Death Stranding 2. Andrew, I can't remember the last time a trailer has made me this happy for a couple reasons.
You don't watch trailers.
A, I don't watch trailers. B, I think this nailed the tone that I wanted from Death Stranding 2. Most importantly, we got a release date and it's in 2025. I would have waged, if you gave me decent odds, there's a part of me that may have bet $1,000 that this game wasn't going to come out this year. I just didn't see it happening. So the fact that it were months out, that tickles me. I was smiling ear to ear. I was so happy. I was choked up watching the trailer. It just like got me in the feels.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Listen, if you want to watch the trailer, go do it. I think it's very well made. I think it does kind of, this is why I don't like trailers. I think it kind of ruins a little bit of the story beats that we're going to come see.
Yeah.
There's some stuff with little baby Lou.
Yeah. Who's like a little kid.
He's like a little kid.
So cute in that thing.
It's very cute.
Holy shit.
Him and his little, he's looking around. He's got some personality. The return of some characters, the death of some characters, the communication of some characters beyond death, because that's Death Stranding and Kojima can do whatever the fuck he wants.
They do a cast list at the end.
Yes.
Which is pretty revealing.
Yeah.
The thing is, okay, so, quick catch up. Mikey, Death Stranding, one of your favorite games, literally of all time.
Yes. Yeah.
And we did not hit for me at the same way. And it's not that I can't appreciate that it's a beautiful game, which it definitely is.
Yeah.
Both the graphics and design and the landscaping and the music and all that kind of stuff. Really beautiful. And it's more the same, I'd say. So if you liked it, I can imagine you're going to like this because, or the trailer at least. because it is very similar. And I was even thinking about the song that plays. And I'm like, Mikey's pre-ordered that on vinyl already. Just like locked and loaded on that.
Kojima is like Tarantino. He knows how to put the right song in the right place.
He has a type.
Yeah.
He really does create a very specific look and feel.
Yes.
And that works for so many people.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's all you want for this kind of stuff. I laughed that you're like, it revealed too much of the story. And I'm like, it revealed what?
That's true. No,
I can't
that's
fucking
true.
make heads or tails of what the hell's going on.
That's a good point, because even with all of the, like, you made me laugh because I was like, we should watch the trailer before, and you're like, it's 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, it's not long enough. You're like, demos used to be shorter than that. It was very funny. But yeah, even in the things that it reveals in the 10-minute trailer, which is longer than most cutscenes in most games, there's so much more that they can do, and so many questions that I have.
Yeah, because there's also, I would say the first 7 minutes are an actual trailer.
Yeah.
Where it's like story and dialogue, music, character.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes like coming out this. And then there's 3 additional minutes of like, and then what about this? And it's
Yeah.
like, there's added clips. Like, it feels like the stuff that they cut out. Like, let's not use that.
I was gonna say, it's like when we're clipping like an ad for this podcast,
Yeah.
and we have like all the clips that we want to use, and they're kind of like later on in the project.
Yeah.
And it's like if we exported the whole thing, where it's like, here's the clip, and then it's just like other little chunks,
Yeah.
things that we forgot to remove.
It does
from-
feel
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It was like, and some more stuff. And
Yeah.
it's
you know,
really
there's
cool.
kaijus. And we're like, what?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I do, because of these last 3 minutes. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought we
yeah.
told them not to show the kaiju.
Yeah.
There are little cute moments that make me excited for the game. It's the personal relations that they have between each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's the little like romantic thing between Lea Seydoux and Norman Reedus, and
Yeah.
the kiss and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's really cute. The way that Norman Reedus, when he has the baby, who's now an actual human being,
Yes.
not like just a baby in
Yeah.
a tube, but like this, and he kisses it on the top of the head, and he goes, "All right, time to go," and he gets
Yeah.
up, and I'm like, it was so soft and little that I'm like, oh man, that is really. I mean, the moment, not the baby,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
also very soft and little.
soft and little.
But
But you know what wasn't soft and little when he saw that? Your dick.
yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
It was hard and little.
It was so hard and continued to be little. I imagine. I don't know what your expectations were for number 2 when you found out number 2 was happening, but I have to imagine it's some version of this. It feels like a continuation, right?
So here was my fear: is Kojima's like, you liked that?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We're giving you something completely different.
That's what
And that's still possible. Here's my big fear,
Okay.
and a prediction that I have: all of the scenes we saw between Norman Reedus and Lea Seydoux are like an interlude, or sorry, not an interlude, like an intro.
Yeah.
The other Spanish potentially character who was in it, he like accented character, European of some sort.
Yes.
I don't know who the actor was.
I didn't recognize the name when they did the thing. I should have looked it up.
Maybe the main character, maybe playable.
Well, the fact that they opened the trailer with these 2 characters that you don't know.
You don't know them. Yeah.
It just because it happened at the end of the game and I missed them, is that I was like, oh, okay, maybe these are, and maybe it's more of a story about science and, and procreation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though they do show you lots of gameplay of traversal, like,
Yes.
and new traversal, new styles.
Which I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there is the traversal element, which is similar to Death Stranding 1, and that's when you're Norman Reedus, and then there's more combat-focused element, because this is why I say this. This character, towards the end of the trailer, puts on a headband, and he looks just like Solid Snake, and he's got a troop of people fighting with him, and I'm like, is there a traversal, and then there's a combat character that you play as? Maybe you play as both of them.
You don't think it's Solid Snake though, right?
It is evocative of Solid Snake, but I don't think
he
it
has
is.
the rights to it anymore because he's not working for Konami anymore, right?
Well, listen, you don't need to call him Solid Snake. You can just call him, and I guarantee you he does something like that.
Fiery Scorpion or something like that? Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Which would be so funny if he did that.
Well, his naming conventions, anything could happen.
Yeah.
It's a real bowling for soup thing where I think he just picks things out of a hat.
Exactly.
And he's like, yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Except to him, he's like, oh my God, art. I have seen him like, just thinking like, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, great. Nailed it.
Fire Scorpion.
Have you ever seen his reviews of movies? Like he has a letterbox.
No,
account
you
and
told
stuff
me
like-
about this though.
It is unbelievable.
It's amazing.
It's just like his games where I can't make heads or tails of it, and I can't tell if he's like, I'm taking this so seriously, or he's winking the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't think it really matters, and I think that's kind of what's beautiful about the whole thing. So Death Stranding 2.
Yes.
Man.
I can't wait.
Also, get future games I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
MLB The Show is coming out.
Sure.
And then also Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remaster.
That might be worth us doing an episode on, honestly. Like that's, we always talk about how much of an influence Tony Hawk as a game was on this podcast.
Yeah.
We did Tony Hawk. We did a couple of the Tony Hawk's games, including the number 1+2 remake. We did that on the podcast. So maybe we do a check-in when that's out
I think I don't want to predict too much considering we haven't talked about this. I guess if you're hearing it, we didn't cut it out. Is that also Last of Us is coming back? And I think we have to at least, we will probably do an episode about the season, if not more. But we'll do at least an episode.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, because that trailer came out and man,
that's a tough one because it's the kind of thing where like we need to make sure my player one isn't in the place when we're talking about it. I just don't want spoilers and stuff.
Oh,
again,
I almost made a joke earlier, and I was very conscious of trying not to be spoilers about Last of Us season 2 or game 2. I mean,
this thing that was just so synonymous with like gaming culture, like everyone has played The Last of Us 2, and now that it's opened up to a wider audience, you have to be so careful about not ruining what is some of the best story beats in gaming.
Yeah.
Like I think, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, we'll be talking about that as well. And there's so many more games coming out this year, so I'm sure there's gonna be lots of reasons for us to be talking to you. But Mikey and I got some planning to do. We got to talk about future stuff so that we can talk to you more. But until then, we love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name's Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm out of practice. This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over, idiot.
That's like straight up bullying, okay?
I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much. I'm so erect.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Well, I guess it could be a hole because that's where the milk comes out of.
Hey, there we go.